The purpose of this video is to discuss different types of chemical reactions. So the first type is called a synthesis reaction. This is where two or more reactants form one product, kind of like Mickey and Minnie becoming a couple. A plus B yields AB. Notice these are separate and now they're together. Synthesis. Now sometimes this is called a combination reaction. Then you have the decomposition. This is where Mickey and Minnie are a couple and then they break up. So AB, notice they're together, and then you yield A plus B. They're not together again, they're broken up. This is the opposite of the synthesis reaction. Then you have the single replacement reaction. We have a more reactive element that replaces a similar but less reactive element in a compound. So Mickey and Minnie are together, AX. And then Donald comes along, that's B. So a compound plus an element yields a different compound, right? This compound is Mickey and Minnie, and this one is Donald and Minnie. And that gives you a new element. It's single replacement. Only one of these is being replaced. Only one of them. It's got to be the similar. So metals will replace metals, non-metals will replace non-metals. Now sometimes this is called single displacement. Then you have the double replacement where two compounds exchange ions to form new compounds. So you have the double date gone wrong, Mickey and Minnie, plus Donald and Daisy. So AX plus BY yields AY plus BX. So Mickey and Donald traded spots. Now this is sometimes called a double displacement, or sometimes it's called a metathesis. Now there are types of double replacement reactions. One is called the neutralization reaction. This is where you have an acid plus a base that yields salt plus water. And all that's happening here is, notice the anion Br and OH. If they switch places, it gives you two new compounds. It's a double replacement reaction. This just happens to be an acid. That just happens to be a base. So low pH, high pH. Once you mix these, then you'll have a neutral solution in water. See that HOH, or H in the OH? Well, you can write it like this. Sometimes you want to write it HOH, sometimes you want to write it as H2O. The next type is called a precipitation reaction. That's where you have two compounds that are aqueous. They need to be aqueous for this to work. That means they're dissolved in water. And it'll yield a new compound plus a precipitate. You can either precipitate gas or it can precipitate a solid. In this case, it's a solid. The last type is called a combustion reaction. That's where a hydrocarbon plus oxygen gives you carbon dioxide, water, and energy. And it's always going to be like this. If you see carbon bonded to hydrogen plus oxygen, always combustion reaction. Products will always be CO2 and H2O. Very simple. So the fuel would be the hydrocarbon. The oxygen is obvious, right? You have to have heat to get it started, but you also release heat as a product. Okay, let's look at this reaction. Notice that we have one reactant, but then we have two products. So which reaction would that be? That's a decomposition reaction. Mickey and Minnie are together. Mickey and Minnie break up. Okay, we have two compounds that yield two new products. Two compounds that yield two new products. Let's see. Well, this is ionic. That's ionic. Double replacement. So if you have two ionic compounds that produce two ionic compounds, that will be a double replacement reaction. Okay, how about this? We have two reactants that form one product. Two reactants, one product, synthesis. Mickey, Minnie, Mickey and Minnie together as a couple. Now you have an element plus a compound that yields a new compound and a new element. Single replacement. C3H8 plus O2, so hydrocarbon plus oxygen, and then look at the product, CO2 and water. Combustion. Always a combustion. Hydrocarbon plus oxygen will be a combustion reaction. Okay, hopefully that helps.